Coming up on US 7, groups on campus spread sexual assault awareness for the month of April.
And the National Day of Silence came to the University of Illinois.
Your US 7 news break starts right now.
From the Richmond Journalism Teaching Studio on the University of Illinois campus, UI 7 News, your U of I news source.
Good morning, I'm Daniel Charis.
And I'm Melissa Spagna, and this is your UI 7 news break. Rape Advocacy Counseling and Education Services for Races is helping spread sexual assault awareness throughout April.
To spread the word, they held an event on the quad. UI 7's Hannah Butler has more.
Races built an exhibit in the quad last Thursday to inform others of the number of sexual assault cases involving children. Coordinator of this exhibit, Adrian Spires, says that the nonverbal communication helps people realize that sexual assault is real and prevalent.
For some people, it's very difficult because we reside in a victim-blaming society. So sometimes people are so engulfed in the myths that's out there about sexual assault as opposed to the actual data-driven information and the truth that's out there.
Antoinette Hobbs is a volunteer with the Racist organization and also a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. Hobbs devotes hours of her time to support the cause.
I'm very passionate in helping others and supporting others, even as I go through my own process. And this is actually, it's actually a healing for me to volunteer and to make others aware of the crime, because it is a crime.
Some of the statistics read that 60% of assaults are never reported, and on average, there are 125 sexual assault cases in Champaign County each year. The toddler seats serve as a method to make it visually understanding for everyone who sees the exhibit. The teddy bears invite them to take pictures and share them on social media sites. If so, they are asked to use the hashtag #ISTAND to spread awareness. Hobbs says that one thing she wants people to take away from the exhibit is to be aware and care for people. She also wants other survivors to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
We believe in you as a survivor, and know as a survivor you can become an overcomer. You can overcome it and have a full life, a healthy life, and an abundant life.
In Urbana for UI 7 News, I'm Hannah Butler.
Events held to raise awareness have been going on all month. Champaign community members were also expressing their support against child abuse. The McKinley Foundation at the University of Illinois asked community members to join them as they tie blue ribbons on trees near the corner of 5th and Daniel. According to the Department of Child and Family Services, approximately 1,862 cases of child abuse and neglect were reported in Champaign County in 2012. The blue ribbon is the international symbol for child abuse prevention. The color blue was chosen to represent the bruised and battered bodies of the thousands of children that are abused every day. One blue ribbon was tied on the trees for each reported case. Participants are hoping that this will serve as a constant reminder that each person has a responsibility to help keep children safe. Sometimes the best way to make your voice heard is to be silent. National Day of Silence was strongly supported by students at the University of Illinois campus.
It was kind of the first activist thing I did, I guess. And so I always remember the day pretty fondly.
LGBT-related RSOs on the U of I campus participated in National Day of Silence in order to help raise awareness for LGBT rights. President of Pride and LGBT activist Ben Gerber participated in Day of Silence when he was in high school. He says it was the first act of LGBT activism he participated in.
And it's a day to honor and recognize the silence felt by various people or the silence imposed upon various people for either their actual or their perceived sexual orientation or gender identity.
Those participating vowed to be silent for the day in order to symbolize how members of the LGBT community are silenced due to fear of discrimination and violence. The silence was broken that day at 5 p.m. with a rally in front of the alma mater statue. Day of Silence is a national event led by students that raises awareness for anti-LGBT bullying and harassment. Transgender activist and U of I alum Pauline Park attended the rally and shared her thoughts on what the university can do to be more inclusive.
So in the last 20 years, the university has come a long way, but there's still a lot of work to be done. There's work, for example, in terms of the curriculum, adding coursework that is LGBT specific.
Although Gerber thinks Day of Silence makes a larger impact at the high school level, he believes that silence is a good way to bring attention to the cause.
The fact that I, someone who talked a lot in class, was silent the entire day was kind of weird for some people, and it was a good opportunity to explain to them why why I felt the way I did and why I thought that it was important that I was silent for a day and what that meant to me.
In Urbana, I'm Melissa Spagna, UI7 Newsbreak.
If you drive on campus, you may be familiar with the parking system, but lately, in some areas of campus, prices seem to be going up. There are 3 parking facilitators on campus: Champaign, Urbana, and University Parking. The one that charges and keeps track of offenses is Urbana. Every time a driver gets a ticket under the same license plate, the fee goes up by $5. An Urbana parking official says it helps prevent future violations. Some ways that students can avoid parking tickets in Urbana is by using coins, pay to park on specific meters, and as some students have found more helpful, there are cash keys, which is a coinless way of paying for parking. Cash keys are sold at all 3 parking entities and work on all meters.
Urbana police is getting tougher when it comes to bicycle violations. Last Tuesday, 22 people were cited on campus. Urbana Police Officer Sergeant Andy Charles says that it is important to enforce the rules of the road and make sure they are followed. Violators in Urbana have the option of paying a $100 fine, take the case to court, or if it's your first violation, take a bicycle diversion program. Some violations include running stop signs and going down the wrong way on a one-way. Once someone receives a citation, the Bike Project of Urbana-Champaign gives them a safety light. Sergeant Charles wants everyone to know that safety is their priority.
Coming up, Illinois baseball is in full swing. Find out what key player is making a name for himself.
And a tasty twist on books. Who won the edible book contest? Right here after the break.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. Danny, no lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Danse, balance suis la cadence. On lève bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex? Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Spring sports are officially underway for Illinois athletics. The Illinois baseball team is off to a hot start. Here's UI7 Sports' Chad Boxenbaum with the story.
Spring is finally here, and that means warm weather, clear skies, and of course, baseball. The Illinois baseball season is moving right along, and so far, the pitching has been key for this ball club.
Halfway through the 5th inning, Illinois 1, Michigan 0.
Illinois baseball junior John Kravitz has received a lot of attention lately after receiving Big Ten Pitcher of the Week honors for the first time in his career. However, Drayson Johnson, another right-handed pitcher on the staff, has been just as impressive since entering the starting role for the Fighting Illini. Johnson was given a starting position in the rotation after southpaw Kevin Duchesne went down with an injury earlier this season. Duchesne was a cornerstone of Illinois' rotation, but Johnson has shown that his team can only be successful with pitching by committee.
With Kevin being gone, obviously, is a key point in our rotation and in our pitching staff, but we have confidence in everyone who goes out there, and so that's what a pitching staff does. Is when someone gets hurt or someone's not having a good outing, we have a bunch of guys that can come in and pick it up.
The numbers have shown that Johnson has steadily improved each year over the span of his career here at Illinois. After being redshirted his freshman year, Johnson has since made over 30 appearances in relief during his next 2 seasons of play, including 5 starts during that span as well. Since moving into the starting rotation for the Fighting Illini, the redshirt junior holds a record of 3-4 this season with an earned run average of 2.74.
I thought he made a major adjustment from last year to this year with his arm angle. And then, Drew Dickinson's done a great job helping him develop. And he also, helped him as far as moving from the bullpen into the starting rotation.
Johnson's steady improvement on the mound has helped keep Illinois in games this season and has his teammates believing in his ability to carry them and win games over the course of the year. Students of the Champaign-Urbana area came together for some exercise and a great cause this weekend. The Alpha Phi Omega Service Fraternity organized a 5K in support of the Special Olympics. All of the proceeds went toward aiding the foundation and their mission. More than 5,000 people came out to volunteer and put on these events. For many, it's about getting out and being active, while for others, it's about fighting for those who can't. After they finished the race, they were received with refreshments, fruit, and cookies. The first place winners was awarded gift cards, even though the real winners at the race today were those who they were running for. That's it for sports. Back to you.
Everyone may have an Instagram now, but there is still an appreciation for traditional photography. The 2014 Boneyard Photo Show was hosted by Vintage Analog Manual Photographers, or VAMP, the Urbana Museum of Photography, and the UIUC Photography Studio at the Illini Union. This photo show included the unveiling of the U Project, a vintage camera showcase, and a pop-up photo studio. Students were told to place heart-shaped sticky notes on the photographs they liked and write comments. Special guests included Steve Ingram from the Urbana Museum of Photography, who specializes in the wet plate collodion photographic process. Wet plate photography was first used in 1847 as a way to develop photos onto glass or tin. Ingram uses the wet plate photography process to create images that complement Civil War reenactments, Old West themes, and even modern portraiture.
The 9th annual Edible Book Festival featured cakes and cookies inspired by famous books. Each street was entered for a contest, and one lucky competitor walked away with more than she expected. UI7's Carissa Townsend has the story.
Whether cloudy with the chance of meatballs or 50 shades of peeps, each baker had the chance to compete for several awards. For Sarah Heller, this was her first time competing.
I've never competed in anything like this before. In fact, I'm not much of a competitor.
Spectators had the chance to look at more than 20 treats. Event coordinator Daniel Tracy says all entries are welcome.
What you have to do is bring some sort of entry that is either based on a particular book or just, in general, based on the idea of books.
Viewers vote for the treat they like the most by placing a sticker on a card. The treat with the most stickers wins the People's Choice Award.
Many of the snacks were made using cake, Rice Krispie treats, fruit roll-ups, and even vegetables. Competitor Sarah Heller recreated Wild Rumpus from the children's book Where the Wild Things Are.
It's all cake, so it's all edible. The fondant. So the parts that are fondant are the stripes, the bits that stick up around the face, and the trees with the leaves.
Competitors waited to hear which award they would receive.
The award is Wild Rumpus by Sarah Heller.
Heller received 2, the People's Choice and Best Visual. Other entries included Mary Had a Little Lamb and Around the World in 80 Daisies. Heller says she's happy to share her creation with everyone.
I love doing this, and it's just nice to get a chance to show people what I love to do.
After all the pictures were taken, competitors and spectators were able to taste dirt and other delicious treats. In Champaign, I'm Carissa Townsend, UI7 Newsbreak.
I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but some of those desserts look pretty good.
I know. I really like the 50 Shades of Peeps one. That one looked great.
That was a good one. And the Around the World in 80 Daisies. Very clever.
I know. I wish I went there.
Well, that's all we have for this edition of UI7 Newsbreak.
Be sure to join us next time and have a fabulous afternoon.